and we're going to make an interesting card, which can be done either way. So it can be done the way I'm doing it, or it can be stood up. However, if you stand it up as a 6x6, which is what today's card's going to be, you will end up, it looks a bit odd. It looks better the other, like whatever, vertically, is that the right word? Yeah, vertically, as a 5x7. And it's one that I saw Fluttered by Heidi do, and she called it a 4-flap display fold card. But I thought I'd do a 6x6 version and turn it round so it's a stepper card. So this, I've decided to call this a 6x6 pronged stepper card. And so that is what it looks like. And then when it's stood, I haven't put a sentiment on this yet. So that's what it looks like basically. So it's interesting. It's an interesting one. So then you've got space on the back to write. So that is what it, and it stands up obviously like that. If you wanted to, you can maybe make these a little bit smaller. If you wanted to have, like, you know, large and then a bit smaller, or you could take them off all together and just have them on the back. It's really up to you, but I quite like it like that. It's just a bit different, really. It's a bit funky. It's a bit funky. This die, which is beautiful, this is a Coco Rosa Studio die, and this is one of my new orders. So it folds flat, fits in an envelope for a 6x6. This one isn't that thick. That would definitely pass going through the post in our country, in the UK. The 5x7 version that I did, I will quickly show you. So this is the 5x7, this done this way around. And this one would not fit through the post because it's so many layers, because I did do mats and patterns on this one, and also you have more layers to do. And this is another one of the Coco Rosa dies, so don't forget to use iced20, which is my code, and that'll get you 20% off at cocorosa.com. So really cute little kite die. It's got little bows on it. The string doesn't come with the die. That was actually an X-cut balloon set dies. But I just thought, oh, that works. So I think you probably make your own string if you know, when you buy the kite die. But it's nice. You could do what you want with it, really. It comes with a little heart and a little flower and the little bows, as well as the kite. And so for this card, I've used Antonio Makes' papers. This Pretty in Pink set, which I had a while ago now, it's still on his shop, which I'm really pleased about because I love these papers so much. So again, if you want to go over to Antonio Makes, my code for him is Louise10, and that will get you 10% off. And that includes 10% off on his VIP membership as well. So if you like digital papers, go and check him out, because these are beautiful. They're literally beautiful. This is the one we're going to be doing. This is like a steppery one. I quite like it. It does look, it sort of looks the same, but doesn't. Obviously you could do it this way around, but I just think this sticks out too far for my liking. It's a bit, I don't know if I like it as a 6x6 that way round. It doesn't really work for me. This way works much better. You are gonna need your 6x12, and you do need a 12 for this. You can't go shorten it to 11 3/4. Well, you could, but I'll let you figure that one out if you do. So 6x12, you're gonna score at 3 inches. At 6 inches and at 9 inches, and I wouldn't go too thick with your card. This card that I've used here, I'm guessing it feels about a 250. So that's all you need to do for that one. And then this one, which is 4 inches by 12 inches, you just score halfway at 6 inches. And the little fun thing about this is you can get all of your pieces out of a 12x12 sheet. So imagine that's your 12x12 sheet. You also need 4 pieces that are 1x6. So if I just lay that out, that is 12x12. So you're not wasting any card at all if you use a 12x12 sheet. So I quite like that. Quite nice that you can get it all out of one sheet. So what we're going to do, the piece that's 4x12, you're literally just going to fold it in half. And that's going to be like a 10th fold 4x12 card, top folding. Then your 6x12, got a little heart on the desk. Your 6x12, you're going to fold it in half like you would. So if you've got a 6x6 card blank, you could use that. Just make sure it is 6x6, but you could use that if you wanted to. And then you want to fold these back. So you're kind of making a concertina type card, something along those lines. So we're going to, oh, there we go. So you end up with that. So that is your, that's all your folding done basically. So it's really easy on the folding. Right, so now what we want to do is go ahead and decorate. Just leave that there. We want to decorate this piece first of all. You need to cut out. If you're just doing pattern like I am, you need a pattern piece that is 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. If you are doing a mat as well as a pattern, then your mat will be that size and your pattern will be 3.5 by 5.5. So I'm going to go ahead and just stick this down. And then on the back, you just want a white piece that is the same. So it's 3 3/4 by 5 3/4 if you're not using a mat. If you are using a mat, that's the size your mat will be, and your white will be 3.5 by 5.5. I haven't got my white piece ready yet, so I'm going to stick that on afterwards. So that is that done. So let's move on to these. So these, you want to take 2 of them out. So you need to take 2 of them out, and these need to remain full length. And so on these, you need 2 pieces that are 3/4 by 5 3/4. And so they're going to go on there like that. So I'm going to stick those down. So we're going to start with these 2 pieces. I'm going to open this up, and this is going to stick on here. So if you it's like this, it's going to stick on this bit here. So I'm just opening that up like that. So this is going to stick on here like that, and you want to make sure it lines up with the edge and it lines up with like the top of that crease line. You don't want it over the crease line. You want to make sure it definitely goes, you know, it's just above it, because you're going to be able to fold this in half. You want it to fold in half, so you want to make sure you miss that. Like that. And it's very important that you do line this up and you get your measurements right, because literally the 4 plus the 1 plus the 1 is 6 inches. So if you get this wrong, then you could end up with a bit of a problem. Right, so you should end up with that. So now what we want to do is this is going to stick. So it's going to, that's why you need to make sure it definitely fits, because you want it to go through there, and it's going to sit on the back. Okay, so if I just turn this over here, the best way I find of doing this is actually to glue this bit rather than there, because then you know where it's going to be. And then we're going to turn this over. Now before we stick it on the front, we want to put another piece in here. So this piece of pattern paper here is, she says looking at her notes, well, if you want to do it without a mat, it's 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. If you're going to do a mat, then that's your mat size, and your pattern size will be 2.5 by 3.5. I don't think I mentioned what these were, did I? These are 3/4 by 5 3/4, and you only need 2 pattern pieces. If you're going to use a mat and a pattern, then what I would do is make your mat 7/8 by 5 7/8, and your pattern 3/4 by 5 3/4, because otherwise your pattern's going to be ½ inch wide, which for me is a bit too thin. So yeah, so I'm going to go ahead now and stick that pattern piece in the middle. Obviously you can use a different pattern if you want to. Right, so that's that. Then we're going to fold this over, and this is going to stick there. But before we do that, we need to stick these pieces on. So let me turn this round. So these are going to go from here going up this way. Okay, so there's your basic of your layout, as it were. And then we just want to go and put these on. So these, you've got 4 of them. If you're just using pattern, you need 4 that are 3/4 by 2 3/4. And if you're using a mat and a pattern, your pattern will be that size still, but your mat will be 7/8 by 2 7/8. And so then these just go here and here, here and here. So I'm just going to stick, these hearts were actually from here. So they were from here and here, they were a lot of offcuts. So I kept them and I'm going to use them on this It's a Girl because I thought that could look good. Just leave that there like that, and then if we just kind of place these on, and I just need to make sure that we don't, oh gosh, come on, don't move. Okay, that we don't go over that line. Like that, maybe? Like that. And then that, yeah, that's okay. I don't mind that. There we go. Right, let's stick this all down then now. Right, that's good. Now the only problem now is those back ones look plain, but I'm going to leave it like that for now, and I might add some more later on the back. We'll see. I don't know, maybe it looks all right. But yeah, there you go. There is your finished card. Folds flat, fits in a 6x6 envelope for a 6x6. And yeah, there we go. Thank you everybody for joining me. We got there in the end. Hurrah, we made it.